All right, everybody, welcome to the Get Bit Podcast, the podcast for nerds, blurs, and everybody else that loves fandom. I am your host, the most Will Buchanan, and I'm actually joined again by Joe and by Shadow. Guys, how you doing tonight?
Pretty nostalgic and heroic and feeling the liberty right now. As my shirt would suggest.
It's amazing we both got on Captain America shirts right now, which I
When
just
did
not
you go do my
noticed.
emo costume?
Yeah, at least get the mask.
I just not thought about that. I was like, I did not notice that. I did not notice that before I launched the podcast. It's like Shadow's wearing Captain America. I'm wearing Captain America. If Joe, you got a Zemo mask, this just completes the ensemble.
It's somewhere in the room.
I'll have a Falcon shirt or something soon. Like, hopefully get some more Falcon merch.
I want to
Hoping to have that costume soon, man. I would love to rock that one.
I just want the shirt. I just want to find a Falcon shirt and a Winter Soldier shirt. But anyway, with that being said, guys, like I said before, this is the Get Bit Podcast. We do thank you all for watching. Before we get started, this is a family-friendly podcast, which means that, yes, there may be some questionable words that might get said here and there. But again, we try to keep it as clean as humanly possible. And of course, if we were showing something, but we don't actually have any trailers or anything like that tonight, I was going to say viewer discretion is advised. But let's be honest, we're just going to get to the heart of the matter because a certain movie has came out. It actually came out Thursday. And, well, a lot of people did actually want to see this. A lot of, I called them Snyder fanboys, were clamoring for this for 2 years. And it finally came out, whether you went to the theaters or you went to see it on HBO Max. We are talking about Justice League, the Snyder Cut. And, of course, before I do get started, this is a spoiler review. Which means we are going to talk about everything that happened within the 4-hour movie. So, this is your first and only warning you're going to get. If you have not seen the Snyder Cut, the Justice League, and you still intend on seeing it, and you don't want to be spoiled by it, now would be the good time to mute us for a few minutes, because each of us are going to go ahead and go on a roundtable discussion and really talk about, what we liked, what we didn't like, and our overall feeling on it. So, final warning, 1, 2, 3, well, you've been warned. So, Shadow, I started with Joe last week, so Shadow, I'm going to start with you. Sir, the floor is yours on how you feel about the Justice League Snyder Cut.
It was beautiful. So I was one of the people who was, I guess, nostalgic-eyed for the 2017 Justice League. We were out there in costume, having a good time and everything. I saw it a couple times. And I guess my nostalgic brain was content with what we got.
Okay.
But I noticed the problems. I noticed all the problems that we have with that movie. So I was like, okay, it's cool. We got what we got. They saved the day. Hopefully they can get better in the future. Well, the future of the DCEU is completely screwed anyway, in my opinion, because after this movie and what was set up and what was originally the plan, I don't think we're ever going to see the full experienced universe that we were supposed to be getting. But with this movie, this 4-hour movie that I sat and watched yesterday, all the scenes that were there in the original cut, they were in this one, they were played out more. Characters who didn't get a single shred of character development last time are just popped and propped up so good this time around. And that final act, the battle scene, was 100 times better than what we got in the theatrical release.
Okay.
I loved it. I didn't see a single thing compared to what we got, and now seeing what we could have actually had and what the future of the ECU could have been. I'm happy. I loved it, man. That's really all I can say.
All right. So if you were given a rating out of 10, what would your rating be for it?
Out of 10, I'd definitely say about an 8.5.
All right. Cool. Joe, what do you think?
How do I be polite about this? No, I gave it a 7.5. It's definitely better than the original release, that's for sure, because the movie kept a consistent tone.
Mm-hmm.
We got a fair bit of character development from almost everybody. There were some scenes I found wondering why they're in there and a little creepy on some things. The one that annoyed me the most was he had this money and still set up plot points for a universe that is not happening. So I don't see the point of that at all.
Okay.
But like I said, overall it's totally consistent. The movie plot is still the same, it's just longer, which is fine. People kept coming to me, it's like, did you see the Green Lantern? It's like, yes, I saw them the first time they were there. It's fine. What this movie really was to me more than anything, it was more of a cyborg movie with the Justice League. It definitely expanded on his character development. He was almost the center focus of the film.
Mm-hmm.
We did take away his booyah, but whatever. That's an animated series thing. That's not a comic thing until recently.
But still.
Steppenwolf, despite him still being now the ultimate spiky hedgehog, actually got character development. He has a reason for what he's doing, which is good because other than I'm here to give me the boxes, it's because I need to get the boxes,
right? Yeah.
Or I can't go back to Apocalypse. Darkseid is fine. I was more than okay that they replaced Steppenwolf with, at that point, he wasn't Darkseid. I still would call him, during the Age of Heroes part, Euxis.
Yeah.
He was not Darkseid. He was Euxis at that point.
Yeah.
And Euxis apparently is weaker than Ares, but sure, why not?
Yeah, that was...
that was a little
I was like, yeah, he ain't got the Omega power yet because he will be wrecking everybody with that.
Other than that, like I said, they took out some of the cringy parts. They introduced some of their own cringy parts. The Barry Allen part where
yes,
Iris, if you guys look at her and touch her hair, it's like
that was so creepy.
That was cringy.
Are we harassing this woman or are we saving this woman? What are we doing?
It's Wonder Woman 84 all over again.
No!
Like I said, the most interesting stuff out of there, honestly, was Cyborg.
Yes.
Okay.
Superman was fine. We all knew he was coming back. I kind of wish, he went to Alfred to get his colored suit as opposed to always being in the black and white suit. I understand the nature for getting the black and white suit because I've read Death and Return of Superman.
Yeah.
The Lex Luthor thing is still pointless because that's going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The nightmare sequence should have been in the middle of the movie rather than
at the very end. Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah,
There's no point to that because again, that sets up for a film that's not happening. Mm-hmm. Martian Manhunter.
Also.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's fine that they brought him in during the Lois and Martha part, but again, you're setting up something that will never happen. What's the point of it?
Hey, I'll take it and run with it. I'll take it and write some stuff for it. That's what I do.
You gotta remember, DC Comics is now the Omniverse, so that's out there.
Yeah.
So if they want to do a Snyder Universe label, they can run with it there. That's fine.
They said they would.
They said they would, but
if they want to make money, they'll do it. There's enough people out there. So I will say this. I am not forgiving any of these Snyder people. I'm glad it got made. The people that wanted the Snyder cut, I'm glad you got what you wanted. You were still atrociously loud for no reason.
Agreed.
I do believe you guys do get to feel vindicated. The movie was much better than the last cut. Rating aside, a 7.
Okay.
It's a solid B, in my opinion. B minus B, because the minus is you took out cringy stuff to put new cringy stuff in, and you left plot threads that you know will not go anywhere, because even Zack Snyder himself said in an interview, my universe is no longer canon to what the DC film universe is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if they want to use Martian Manhunter's actor in another movie,
it's open for
by all
interpretation.
means, they can play it out. Barry changed the timeline, so we can still use this actor, but this isn't going to happen over here.
Okay. So just to recap, Shadow, you gave it a 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
And Joe, you gave it a, what was it again?
7.
Okay. All right, so I'm up. I gave it a 3.5 out of 10. And I say that because it is a movie by Snyder standards, and I say this because Zack Snyder loves to tell these epic stories, but I see the same mistakes that he did in Man of Steel, the same mistakes that he did in Batman vs Superman. I see the same mistakes he did in Justice League, where you want to tell this overture of a story, but you want to again do it in one movie, and it can't be done. Not without proper story build-up. It can't be done. You will literally have 4 hours of fluff, even though you had some changes in the direction. I'll give you that. You did kind of put more of an emphasis on Wonder Woman and her finding the arrow and then being told the story of Darkseid via a speaking spell inside of a temple. Okay, fine. I will go with that. I'll even go with the fact, again, because, and by the way, you Snyder fans, check your Twitters. I did go after all of y'all. My Twitter list was like, y'all are mighty quiet. Y'all were mighty quiet when I sat there and said, you Snyder fans that wanted this movie and said it was going to be great and said I was going to apologize for it. My Twitter's still open. I checked them before this podcast started. You're very quiet. Which again kind of vindicates what I've been saying, where I have sat there and said the main problem with Justice League is that if you're going to introduce this cavalcade of superheroes, Darkseid needs to be the quote-unquote main villain, not Steppenwolf. I get the fact that trying to show Steppenwolf as a fallen warrior out of grace with Darkseid, but what I got with that was like, I just want to be accepted, so I'm doing this for you. And you can tell because the right-hand man of Darkseid literally just chided him. He's like, I do this for his honor. I do this in front of the righteous one. And he's like, you stole that motherfucker 50,000 worlds. It's like he went back to the tab. He's like, you still owe him 50,000 worlds, sir. Do you think?
So sorry to interrupt. Let's remember one small thing.
Mm-hmm.
Steppenwolf is Darkseid's uncle.
Yeah.
Getting humbled.
Yeah.
Because his mom couldn't do the job. By the way, that was a nice touch. We did get to see Darkseid's mom briefly.
Barely, but yeah.
But, yeah, let's not forget, this is the nephew humbling the crap out of the uncle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, yes, but it's just the whole thing. It's like, I don't get... It's like, if you're going to have a bad guy, I wanted Darkseid. Now, I admit, I wanted the Darkseid from the Justice League animated series. I wanted the hands folded behind his back, walk like nobody was going to talk mess to him. Like, he just sat there and told you flat out, your world is mine. Your world and everything on it is mine. I wanted that Darkseid because that tells me off the bat that him and Planet Apocalypse right behind him was like, we are just basically going to take what we wanted. And I was thinking to myself, when Snyder did this movie, I was like, you have a second chance. If you want to make Steppenwolf, you can make Steppenwolf aside. You can make him your right-hand man. You can make him your arbiter. But again, it has to focus around Darkseid. Because that, to me, would have been the crutch of the movie. It's like, they would have sat there and came across this person, because let's be honest, all you heard was Diana sit there and say, worlds fell before him. You know, everybody, he's went against everybody. And you even hear Barry in the middle of it say, how can we defeat a person that's defeated everything and everybody in every universe? You already have that fear mentality. So why not add it to a person to basically complement it? Which again, kind of made me mad, because, okay, yes, Steppenwolf was basically more spiky than Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay, fine. I just couldn't believe it. Because in my mind, I would, I'm having to disassociate myself from the Snyder Cut, but I'm going right back to the Hodgepodge Justice League. That was 80% Snyder, 30% Whedon. So it was hard to get past that part, and then again, I'm not mad about the visuals. If there's one thing Snyder is good for, all his films are visually masterpieces. 300, Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, they're all visually great. I have no issue with that. Everything was crisp. The CGI really didn't have any issues. I mean, the definition on really attention to detail, I will give Snyder credit. He will make a beautiful movie. It's just the story. It's something like you talk about, Joe, about Green Lantern. It's like we see Green Lantern getting killed at the beginning.
We saw 2 Green Lanterns.
Oh, 2 Green Lanterns. I'm sorry. But we saw them getting killed in the previous first battle on Earth. And of course, you see the ring come off, and of course, we assume to find its next user since it's on Earth. It could be Kyle. It could be Hal. It could be
no. That was
in the past.
Oh, that was in the past. But I'm just saying, just pointing it out where it's leading that. It's leading to that premise of it's finding the next user. Like I said, Joe, about the whole thing about leaving it open-ended. Like, first off, Green Lantern's getting killed, and then at the same time, at the very end, Martian Manhunter John just pops out of nowhere and goes, "I've been watching you this entire time, and you guys are going up against a powerful force, and I decided that now it's time to fight." I'm sitting there screaming at my television, "Where were you this entire time?"
Remember, he's a strongest Superman, but can only use one power at a time.
That was the thing that killed me. It's like, where were you this entire time? Like, you just show up at Batman's house and says, "I'm going to join you." Cool, what's your name? They call me Martian Manhunter, and just fly off. And I'm just like, why? It just, again.
So originally that scene was supposed to be the Green Lanterns. And from what I've read is that Snyder originally wanted Ryan Reynolds to be a second Green Lantern in that scene.
Oh, dear God.
But they didn't go with it. Ryan didn't say it. And so the addition of switching out the lanterns for Martian Manhunter was one of the newer ideas that he had when he was finishing up the Snyder Cut. So that was a new idea. When I saw the scene of him waking up, I expected a green glow. Yeah. And I was shocked when I saw, Manhunter. I was like, okay, cool, because I agree with the whole, where was he and everything. That was one of the biggest things when they announced that he was in the universe in the first place. I was like, okay, cool. Where was you at? I mean, can you just imagine how different Man of Steel would have been?
Yes, it would have been very different.
If March Manhunter was like, "Oh, hey, yes, I'm here. Y'all just showing stuff. I'm gonna help y'all out. Cool." And don't worry, I plan to play with that with a what if story. So yeah.
Yeah, it would have been great in Man of Steel if he showed up. Just like it would have been better in Justice League. And again, the only things I was still mad about, like I said, as Joe pointed out, the cringy parts. I still don't like. Like Flash's running. Flash's running still looks off.
It looks better than it does in the theatrical cut. I will say that. It looks
like he's swimming.
Yeah, true, it does. And
it's like a visual thing.
And don't get me wrong, I know, because like I said, the CW has done such a great job of showing the Speed Force that I'm thinking, okay, you can kind of take from what they did. When you see Barry running in the CW, it's fluid. You see him entering the Speed Force, but it's almost like in the theatrical version, you see Ezra Miller's Barry Allen kind of enter and exit the Speed Force, but it's always going to have this before and after effect. And it's not bad, but at the same time, it's like, you guys couldn't take a hint from the television show on how to do it? I mean,
that's adaptation, man. That's the one thing about Zack Snyder. Mm-hmm. If it's his vision, he's going to make it his vision. He's not going to take from anything else. He's not going to borrow from anything else. He's not going to be inspired by anything else except for maybe what's possibly part of the canon material. But he's going to do it his way. And I think, between some of the stuff he's made, from the time like I think the earliest thing I saw from him was like the Dawn of the Dead remake. So now, I mean, you can't go wrong. The guy has a visual style.
He does. Then I said the same about 300. When he did 300, I had no issue with it because he did it in the style that it needed to be done in. It was supposed to be grimy yet beautiful. It was supposed to be bloody yet it's supposed to be wonderful. He had the true grit of what we believe what Spartans were to be in that historical time period. I am not mad about that.
Yeah.
But it's just like his vision it's almost like it's like you do something great. Like say for instance, he gets in that mindset like 300 goes with him in every movie. Like I can point out some scenes. Like I can point out some scenes in every movie that he's done, and it's like you just basically did this in 300 and it's not adding to anything. So that's what I was thinking. That's why I said the other thing that I had an issue with was, again, we've all said it before, the story, there's the story itself still seems half written. Yes, you did elaborate on Cyborg. It was cool that you elaborated on Cyborg and you gave an origin story. It was kind of cringy how you did Barry's origin story, because I was thinking when he saved Iris, I was like, okay, cool. He's going to show off his power to the point to where Iris is safely away. Yes, the car is wrecked. And again, he's right back in there trying to get his job. And that whole situation of just showing Iris who you are was, I
thought the cringy parts of the original Flash in the theatrical cut, I thought that was a more Whedon thing. But seeing it now, I was like, okay. If you wanted him to be this kind of person, you should have made him Wally.
Yeah. At least that would have fit. That would have fit. It would have fit Wally. It would have fit Wally more than it would have fit Barry. I have to agree with that.
A Justice League, like TV show Justice League Wally, like that type of Wally.
To be fair, early comics, right after Barry died, Wally is a giant man whore. He has about 5 different girlfriends through the Savage Velocity trade before he gets with Linda. But once he gets with Linda, he's done.
That's true. I mean, he did go through a certain phase. I cannot say because he did go through a certain phase. We just can't say because this is family programming. Even though I said MF earlier, so I apologize. But no, it's just he went through a phase. Let's call it what it is. But like I said before, if there's anything, because I said I don't believe in saying anything truly negative about Justice League. There were some positives. I did like the fact that Ben Affleck has proven he can play Batman. I believe he was given a bad rep. I was one of those guys. I admit this wholeheartedly. I was one of those guys when I saw Batman vs. Superman had Ben Affleck. I said, dude, we saw you do Daredevil. No. That's like, I was the first one to say it. And after Batman vs. Superman, I sat there and said, you know what? The movie was trash, but he can play a good Batman. And even in Justice League, in both cuts, I still like the way he portrayed Batman. And of course, Henry Cavill is the Superman we need. He needs to stay signed on. He needs to. The more I look at him now, again, I don't like the direction Zack Snyder took with him. As far as of course, we saw the black suit coming. Him dying in Death of Superman, we saw the black suit coming. But I still say he was the perfect casting for Superman. Just like Gal Gadot is good for Wonder Woman. Just like Ezra Miller, he's kind of growing on me as Barry Allen. But again, like I know Joe's shaking his head.
I'm shaking my head too, man.
I mean, he's growing on me. He's growing on me.
You do know what his current history is, right?
Yeah. I mean, even with that being said, I will still sit there and say he's growing on me. It's not going from a hard no to like, give the guy a shot. Because at the same time, we're talking about casting and going into the later part of the movie, where again the Batman, I call it the Batman fever dream, as far as showing them flash forward to a world where Superman is basically ruling the world, and you have Deathstroke.
Mohawk, bro. What?
I can't get past that. Deathstroke with a mohawk. You have Mira, which we assume Atlantis is either ruled or destroyed, and then you have Barry. Again, in the, I want to say Injustice-like armor, which again, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Of course, this is the part where I'm just like, why do you bring in the Joker from a very, very different storyline? Where it was almost like that the Joker they saw was like, oh, which Joker is that? I said, you brought back the Joker who is sane? You brought back sane Joker to turn around and be like, Batman, he's like, how many people have you, don't get me wrong, even in the fever dream, I like the conversation between Joker and Batman, where he sat there and says, you're talking to a man who has killed everybody he has loved is killed. He said, what would he know? And then you just see Batman go, one day, Joker, I will kill you. and he kind of does a dig at him. He says, just like I promised Harley Quinn, whose last breath I told her I would kill you and I would kill you slowly. So it's kind of like that Frank Martin run, the Frank Martin run of Batman, where you see Batman finally coming to grips with, is he going to break his one rule to kill Joker, and is Joker going to get what he wants? I love that conversation, but like Joe was saying, it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary to put that scene in, because I've been telling Snyder fans this all day. I said, guys, you keep clamoring for a sequel is just not going to happen. And I sat there and explained it. I said, because Warner Brothers / DC was going to give Snyder a one and done. It was like, we're going to give you your $70 to $100 million to make this movie, but that's it. We know. I mean, and I was explaining to everybody. I said, look, Snyder's had 3 chances. He's like, it's always funny when you hear, oh, he hasn't had 3 chances. Yes, he has. Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Justice League. That's 3 chances. You're forgetting
Sucker Punch.
Oh, we don't count that. That was just whoo. Everybody gets one foul ball. Everybody gets one foul.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. Sucker Punch was one. Sucker Punch was, I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to hold it against you, man. I'm not going to hold Sucker Punch against you, because, hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to keep the lights on. I understand that. But like I said, Man of Steel, borderline decent. Batman vs Superman, your movie which was supposed to set up for Justice League got turned down to one word, Martha, and became an internet meme across the board, even to the point where Deadpool made fun of it. And then, like I said, with Justice League, it's just, again, it's Snyderish. It's borderline decent. So I can understand why Warner Brothers and DC sat there and said, we don't see, and even Snyder sat there and said it, I don't see this going past this. I just want to do this movie and say I've done it and be done with it. And it's like, oh no, this was a great movie. In the grandstand things, it was borderline. And if there's anything that we've known, and I don't want to blame Marvel for this, I don't. But Marvel has shown how to take 10 years of movies and take one epic story. Even though there were good and bad points, there were plot holes in every movie you can find it. That's true. But after 10 years and 22 films, what they did with Infinity War and Endgame is still the best way to tell the end of a great saga. Even though it took you 22 movies to do it.
And do you know why?
Oh, go for it, Shadow.
No studio interference.
Oh yeah.
Once Marvel became Marvel Studios, mm-hmm. and they set one person at the top to lay out everything, they had it. They had it set. I honestly think, and I think like that's why I'm so in so much, in defending this movie, is because this is a vision without interference.
True.
Like if they had the balls to drop the full ultimate cut. I mean, we set in the movie for 3 hours of Endgame. I would have set in the movies for 3 hours of Batman vs Superman to get every single point across that was in the ultimate version. I made a 5-hour cut of Infinity War and Endgame put together. I watched this movie. I can sit for a couple different hours.
Fair. So
I would have liked to have seen, go in the theater, pay for 3 hours of the full cut, uninterrupted, company, corporate. Let's rush this out so we can beat Civil War. None of that. No interference. I think if WB had kept their grubby little hands off of it and just let him do his thing, with some input from Jeff Johns and some input from all this stuff. If they had done that, I think this universe would have had a better future than what it has now. It wouldn't be so fractured.
Okay, I can see that, but the only thing I would do is that if anybody was going to be the quote unquote Kevin Feige of DC,
Jeff Johns.
It had to be Jeff Johns. It couldn't be Snyder. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said before, Snyder. If I was Snyder, I would give him something that fits him. I would give him Lobo. He could do a good Lobo movie. He could probably do a great Green Lantern movie. He could probably do Booster Gold. Give him some. I mean, he could probably do Hawkman. I'm like, there are so many characters out there that have these. It's like a Guardians of the Galaxy thing, you know. Unless you're a comic book reader, let's also be honest. A lot of people who are now watching Marvel movies religiously, 70% of them didn't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were until it became a film. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that just goes to show you that they took something from an unrecognizable standpoint and they made it a household name. Snyder could have turned around and done the same thing, but overall being the head of the universe, because I said before, his influence over Suicide Squad, which was basically Hollywood / Warner Brothers, let's be honest about that, which is now kind of interesting considering that James Gunn's Suicide Squad is basically without Warner Bros. Interference. It is completely his vision. So you do have a point on that. You do have a point about the fact of Warner Brothers jumping into DC movies and it affects them. And then they want to blame the director, which again, I conceded to that point from a person I was talking to on Twitter that, you know, if Snyder's movies weren't interfered with, which I had to point out, I said, no. I said, well, you're right about one movie because Man of Steel was all his vision. Batman vs. Superman was all his vision. The only time Warner Brothers stepped in and started, you know, making changes or forcing to make changes was Justice League. So you can see the differences in all three movies, but I get it. You know, if a corporation that owns the rights to DC stays out of it and lets the director do it, then yes, it could be a good movie. It could be a bad movie. But at the same time, it depends on the direction. And that's why I was there saying with Justice League, it's like, do not get me wrong, in a world where we're getting nothing but superhero movies, I'm digging it. I'm loving it. There's going to be some movies that I love. There's going to be some movies that I hate. But will I still watch them? Hell, I still watch Street Fighter to this day. Street Fighter was by far how can I put this? I'm trying to rank the worst video game movies ever made. Tekken, Dead or Alive, Street Fighter, the first Mortal Kombat.
Oh, so just doing fighting games. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could go Blood Rain and all those other ones, but any movie...
Yeah, okay,
but let's be honest, any movie directed by Yul Boll is trash. Let's just be honest. Any movie directed... If you see Yul Boll as the director...
Run away.
Just don't even watch it. Just assume it's terrible, because he messed up Blood Rain for me. And I love Blood Rain as a video game, but the fact that he got 3 action movies off that is scary. And... Like I said before, it's like, don't get me wrong. Would I still watch Street Fighter even though Jean-Claude Van Damme is playing an American? The only reason I'll watch it is because of Raw Julia playing M. Bison. Because he gave us such great lines that are still echoed to this day. Which I still love that he told I can't think of her name. She played on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when she was playing Chun-Li. I can't think of her name.
Ming-Na Wen.
Thank you. When he told Ming-Na Wen, he sat there and said, "When I came to your country, it was the greatest day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday." I was like, as cheesy as that movie is, they gave us such iconic lines that I will still go back and watch them. Even Mortal Kombat. I'm one of those few ones. I love Christopher Lambert as Raiden. Don't get me wrong. He had the voice for it. And Robin Shou as Liu Kang at the time was the best person. I mean, if we had Kung Lao in the movie, Donnie Yen would obviously be the best choice for Kung Lao, just because of his fighting style. His fighting style would be similar to Kung Lao's, even though Kung Lao's more, Shaolin Kung Fu and Donnie Yen's more Wushu. But if you look at the fighting styles, they're oddly similar. But like I said, going back to these movies, yes, these movies were trash, but we still watch them in the same sense that someone asked me, would you still watch Justice League? I said, yeah, I still watch it. I mean, just because I give it a 3.5 out of 10, it doesn't mean it's an unwatchable movie. It's a learning movie. It's like if you want to make a great superhero movie, learn from this and apply it to yours. Because like I said before, is DC still going to produce superhero movies? Yes, obviously. Because Marvel right now is in a lull. Marvel right now in the MCU with Phase 4 still going on, which we're going to talk about Falcon the Winter Soldier coming up. They're in a lull. I mean, let's be honest. 2022, you have what? Spider-Man and Spider-Man Multiverse 2 coming out. Eventually, we're going to see Thor, Love and Thunder. Black Widow is somehow going to come out. Black Widow is somewhere coming out of that. And then of course, we're gonna see Doctor Strange in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That's gonna be anticipated just because of so many things are tied into that. So Marvel is pretty much gearing up for the next couple of years, but taking the time in between. And I know I've said this on previous podcasts. This would be a perfect time for DC to start. And I've been saying this. There is nothing wrong with DC doing their own multi-cinematic universe as Marvel. There is nothing wrong with that, because the main problem in all DC movies, because they can be standalones. DC can be standalones. This is true. But the only thing about it is, if you're going to do standalones, then they have to be one-offs. But there has to be some continuity between the two. I mean, between all of it. Because you can't tell an origin story inside of a team-up story, because the message gets lost. And even though Cyborg, which again, I wish that, as he was learning how to use his powers, that his body would be updated. And his body never really, it stayed the same. And I'm just thinking to myself, why not just take that one little gem that you did when you kept his father alive in the first one, and he learned to, he learned to update his body. The man learned how to fly within 5 minutes when he was like, oh, I can fly? Cool. So after he learned how to fly, he's been flying all over the place. But you're going to sit there and tell me that he can hack into an ATM system and give a person that he was following $100,000, but has yet to augment his own body to perfect it? That's odd. But like I said before, guys, like I said, I know we're all different on the scale of the Zack Snyder movie. I still say, like I said, I know I'm going to be the unpopular opinion, because I still see my Twitter blowing up about this, but I'm just saying, it's like, people who are thinking it's going to get a sequel is just not, a sequel or another Snyder directed movie in DC is just not going to happen.
Even though I love the movie, I know it's not going to happen.
And it's just amazing they keep on saying, it's like, we need a sequel to what? Because it was so open-ended. You have what? The Martian Manhunter has decided he's now going to fight. You have a Green Lantern out there, possibly a Green Lantern. I'm like, you still have to figure out Flash, who just realized he could run fast enough to go back in time. Okay, I'll give you that. The fact that he sat there and said, I can run faster than I ever ran before, and he realized that he could actually go back in time. And of course, Superman now in the black suit. Are you setting up to where it's gonna? Obviously you can't go Red Sun. You can't go Death of Superman now. So it's like, where does that leave Superman in the black suit? And don't get me wrong about the Fortress of Solitude. I did like that little twist of hearing Russell Crowe's Jor-El, and you hear
Kevin Kline.
Thank you. You hear Kevin Costner. You hear them basically saying, it's almost and this is why I say Snyder has these brilliant moments. I give him credit. He has these brilliant moments in the movies where you see Superman just go on. You just see the suits coming out, and you see his fathers both talking to him, to the point to where he sit there and gets to the black suit. I'm like, and of course, let me also say this before we go on to Falcon the Winter Soldier. Jeremy Irons as Alfred is awesome.
Yes.
I love Jeremy Irons as Alfred, because his portrayal of Alfred, especially the interaction between him and Gail Gadot over the tea, that was funny.
I found that was kind of cringe, just a little bit, but
But
who else caught the other two big DC characters in this movie? They were hiding in plain sight.
Ryan Choi.
Yep. The Atom.
And okay, we saw Granny Goodness, and then there was someone else.
Yeah, he was in plain sight. They even said his name.
I'm drawing a blank.
Me too. Go ahead.
Christopher Allen was there.
Oh, yes.
He's the third Spectre.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
You're right, because that one flew right over my head. You're exactly right. But
I caught the name, but I couldn't remember the correlation. But yeah, you're right, Joe. Christopher Allen.
Although Ryan Choi, though, I was like, so we're not going to introduce the Atom suit? Okay.
Well, so like I said earlier, this gives me plenty to work with for what I was working on my story anyway. So, you know what? I'll do a version of what I think the Snyderverse should have done, because what his original plan, from what I've learned over some research, was, basically what we got in this 4-hour cut was I guess a longer version of part 1, even though I would split it up in between part 1 and part 2. Yeah. This easily could have been a four-part movie series.
Yeah.
The setup, the fight against Steppenwolf, that I love there's two scenes I love, two team scenes I love in particular. The slow motion ramp where all of them are surrounded by Batman's Batmobile.
Yeah,
I love that one. And then the shot in the boom tube where all of them are staring down Darkseid like, "What's up?"
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Like, "What's up? You coming?" So like that. So what was and he said, we're gonna do the O way, which means invasion. Mm-hmm. The original plan, I think, and they said that they might do a comic book version with this, with I think Jim Lee and Frank Miller, but the Lanterns were going to be introduced. So the whole next movie was going to be the Nightmare stuff. Like, that was going to be the entire movie.
Oh God!
And then the end was going to have the Flash finally going back. Because he'll go back a couple of times. We saw him go back in Batman vs Superman. He's like, "I'm too early. Oh no!" And then he'll go back again.
So they tried to introduce the Flashpoint paradox.
That's what he was trying to do. So then he would go back to the end. That would set up the third movie, where the Lantern, and there will be some Lantern stuff in the second one, but the Lanterns will fully, like, the whole core.
Okay.
It will be whoever's a member of the League at that point. The whole core. They had the plot point of you letting Lois die, so Batman would have eventually sacrificed himself to save Lois, to save Superman's soul. Mm-hmm. He throws his life on the wire. The team unites. They have the Guardians at their back, and they have the full-blown war against Apocalypse, where they win and they go on about their merry way. That's from the research that I've done since the last couple of days. Was the original idea that Snyder had going.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, I would have loved that. It would have been great, because that would have been at least about good 3 movies. That would have been, if they did movie wise, that would have been a good 3 movies, and I would not have been mad at that, because it goes back to what we've all been saying. Had the story been built up properly, I think the movie would have been a lot more accepted than what it is right now. Hey, Larry, I know you're watching. That is the Alfred version Pennyworth is based on. You know what? I have never seen Pennyworth. And I've heard it was a great show, and I've actually never seen it. Yeah. I actually need to go back and watch Pennyworth. But thank you, Fat Larry.
Also, I'm sorry, the setup of Diana looking at the arrow and looking out towards the mascara. Apparently, the Amazons were supposed to all die.
Yeah. Oh,
and the original Wonder Woman sequel was supposed to be her trying to find a way back to the mascara. To find out that some survived, she would take up the mantle as queen, and basically he was trying to set up the armies.
Yeah,
he set up Aquaman, so the Aquaman movie would have still happened. So then King Arthur, his army, you would have had Queen Wonder Woman and her army, and I think that also would have played a point in the Nightmare universe, where they go back and they create a version of Flashpoint, and then the ending goal would have been the Lanterns, the League, both armies, and Lanterns and Amazon, all going against Apocalypse. I think that's pretty much what they were trying to set up.
Gotcha.
With that little thing. So, like I said, that could have been 3 or 4 movies, and I would have sat there and watched a 8-something hour cut. I wouldn't care. Like, that'd been a whole job shift just watching that entire movie. I would have loved it.
I would dug it too, but yeah, I mean, like I said before, it was an interesting movie for Justice League. I know I said it before. It to me, it didn't live up to the hype. Shadow, I know you loved it, and Joe was like me. He was trying to find something nice to say about it, so he gave it a B. So, like I said, if you've been, like I said, guys, listen to us about Justice League. Tell us what you thought of it in the comments, and we'll come back to that. As we're going to our little bit of business today, because, like I said, this was a very interesting week. As of today, because we said goodbye to WandaVision, and we said hello to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That actually did. The first episode did a premiere today, and I'm gonna go around the bend as far as the first episode. So again, I'm going to give this. This is going to be a spoiler discussion. So if you've watched it thus far, we're going to talk about it in full detail. So Joe, I'm gonna start with you. What did you think about the first episode of the Falcon the Winter Soldier?
They killed a lot of people in this episode. I'm not
Hey, Ultron said it best. You're all killers.
Right.
They are.
Yeah.
They press a lot of things that you just don't think about. It's like, so you're a superhero. How do you get paid?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of goodwill out there. You can definitely tell. I definitely know they got Anthony Mackie's training to be a military man, correct? Because he says something. Anybody that got raised in the military is there's no on time. You're either early or you're late.
Yep.
I really dug it. The Bucky part was fine. I'm waiting for them to finally hook up. But this was a nice little Bucky still trying to get back.
It was nice, but it went horribly wrong at the same time.
Oh man! Oh, so bad. So bad.
It's fine though. Like it is. I like that we get to see Falcon's family.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he was from
Louisiana, yeah.
And De La Cruz, Louisiana. I thought he'd still be hanging around like DC or something. Dollar General showing up at the end was pretty nice. Here's the thing. We know someone locally in Nashville that is a good Captain America costumer. I know several of them.
Yeah.
That costume they made for U.S. Agent works, but it doesn't look like it fits that actor properly. Maybe this is one of those things where we got to see him in combat or something.
More than likely, yeah.
But him just standing there waving and whatnot, he looked like Dollar General, not Captain, not U.S. Agent.
Oh God, Shadow, you're up. What did you think about the episode?
I was hooked from the moment they announced the series in general, and because Falcon and Winter Soldier are one of my two favorite characters, seeing their path from from First Avenger to Winter Soldier to Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, all that stuff, just their growing banter. I was like, okay, I'm going into this fully sold. They sold me on the banter, and I come into the first episode, and I'm almost in tears. Like, bro, like these heroes, man, they suffering, bro. They suffering, like Bucky. And I'm glad we get to see more of Bucky's development back into a somewhat real person. Like the whole three rules, like, okay, you're going out, you're doing your assignments. One, you can't hurt anybody. Two,
the rules. Yeah.
One, you have to do something. Two, you can't hurt or kill anybody. And three, you have to be like, yeah, I'm no longer the Winter Soldier. I am James Buchanan Barnes. Are you a part of my rehabilitation? Thank you very much. Have a good day. Fine. I was like, okay, yes. And he's 106. He's very happy. But Bucky is sassy. Bucky, like, he's in there giving sass to the therapy person. Okay. This banter's gonna work out perfectly because Falcon's always had that bit of sass to him in the series so far.
Of course,
especially with Anthony Mackie. His portrayal of Falcon, I'm gonna say, is my definitive Falcon. He's my definitive Falcon. But yeah, no, seeing him trying to help his family, and the hard times they fall on. First of all, the action scene, the opening action scene.
Oh yeah.
I felt like I was watching the ship scene in Winter Soldier. Like, it was that action packed.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you got me hooked. And then also, comic book character note, his liaison for the military.
Yeah.
In the comics, he is experimenting on and becomes the new Falcon, the actual bird Falcon.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get that, but there's a cool reference to see him there. But, dude, I have a lot to say, which I'm doing my review for later tonight or tomorrow, so that'll be out soon. But overall, loved it, and I cannot wait to see what the next 5 weeks have in store for us. 50-minute episodes, straightforward, fully back in the MCU, not like WandaVision where we had to go through decades and everything. We are back in the MCU, and we're setting up. And from what I've learned, I know there's a part of this that was supposed to play out in Black Widow that will lead into this.
Yeah.
I hate that we're not going to see what that is. But whatever they're setting up at the end of this is going to reverberate for future MCU titles, which I am all excited for. Okay. Because we know where the end is leading.
Yeah.
He gave the shield back, which I was like, okay, 3, 2, 1, and John Walker's in the first episode. I should have known. You gave it back. Black man gets it back as a sign of good faith, and you immediately get it.
You immediately recast it. Right.
You immediately recast it. But so. Yeah, no, we know how this is going to end. They're going to struggle. They're going to come through, kick ass, and he's going to stand proud in the red, white, and blue with the wings, holding the shield up like I am Captain America. And it's going to be absolutely epic, and I cannot wait. The hype is real. The hype is
that. That's what I was sitting there saying as I was watching it. I watched it because usually, when I usually prep for these podcasts and talk with you guys, I do kind of watch an episode like 4 or 5 times to really make sure I've caught everything. And we've also the same thing. Those first 10 minutes of him saving that one army guy in the plane, the use of Red Wing and his whole fighting style, and you can tell that Wakanda had some upgrades done to that suit. You can tell there was some Wakandan upgrades to that suit. But I did love the first 10 minutes. I said the first 10 minutes was definitely fire as far as, him flying around, things of that nature. I know you did mention Shadow, and I know, Joe, you mentioned it too. The banter with Bucky and the therapist.
Sassy Bucky!
If that does not, I'm sorry, it's like for all those that don't know, there was a movie called Analyze This and Analyze That, where you had Billy Crystal and Robert De Niro. And they just, if you've seen Analyze This or Analyze That, that banter is exactly what's in the Falcon the Winter Soldier. And I loved it. It made it work. The therapist wasn't taking any crap. She kept on calling Bucky out every 5 seconds. But like you point out, I did love the struggle. I like seeing the Winter Soldier, and I like seeing the Falcon as ordinary people. Of course, with Sam going back and trying to keep his family's business afloat, and that there's a little bit of friction with his sister, and that the whole thing about him going to the army, which could lead to another story. I love the fact that Joe just came back in the Baron Zemo match just now.
Yes.
But I love that, and I think Bucky, which again, I like the fact that even though he is not brainwashed anymore, he's still haunted by his years as the Winter Soldier. And I like the fact where the therapist sits there and says, well, are you still having nightmares? And of course, Bucky lies about it. But it also, the touch where I said it was so beautiful that he said he didn't have any friends. But, he's sitting with the old man. He's saying, you know what? We're supposed to have lunch. It's like,
that was hard.
Yeah, it's like, we're supposed to have lunch. Well, we're going to sit here and not talk. 5 minutes later, you're talking to him. And the old man hooks you up with the hot waitress at the bar. Okay, cool. The old man got game. And then you see that sad part where he's like, well, my son, he used to love the red being Moki, and I used to get it. That used to be his favorite. And then, it kind of shifts as he's on the quote-unquote date. And you see him have that moment, and it's like, well, she started explaining, well, it's been a while since he lost his son. He didn't know how his son died. And then he flashed back to the name, of course, goes back to see it, and he's like, I killed your son. And he falls right back into that.
I'm glad he didn't do it. I'm like, he was there to do it. And I don't think that would have been the right go for the first episode. I think what's going to happen is he's going to get dragged into the action. He's gonna still be questioning himself as he's going through what's going on, and I think they'll play that scene again at the end, possibly, where he's like, "Okay, I'm a more fulfilled person. Hi, I'm James Buchanan Barnes. I was the Winter Soldier, and unfortunately, I was the one who killed your son."
But I think that's what it's gonna be is the trauma. I think the story is gonna be like I said. For Sam, it's like, yes, you're still a hero. You are a hero. You are an Avenger, especially when the guy was in the bank. Oh, I don't know. It's like, wait a minute. You look familiar. He says, he does this. He's like, let me do this. Oh, you're the Falcon guy. Okay, cool. Can I get a selfie? Yeah, cool. We're still not going to approve you for this loan. Okay, bye. It's like, okay.
Hey, look. If I was a superhero in this situation, I've been like, so you're not? Okay, so this is gonna go from the MCU to the boys real quick,
right?
Real quick.
But it's like like I said, it's that little bit of it's that realism. That's why I think it's gonna make the Falcon the Winter Soldier work. Because yes, are they both in some ways enhanced individuals? Yes, but the realism behind it, of course, the Flag Smashers, which I think it's funny, is like, are we gonna see Captain Anarchy? Because I swore up and down. That was Captain Anarchy that literally just stomped a mud hole in old boy in the movie.
That's Nuke.
You think it's Nuke?
That's Nuke.
Yeah, it's the better version of Nuke because the one we got in Jessica Jones was
a little off. Yeah, it was way off.
But yeah, this is Nuke, and they haven't confirmed who the girl's playing. But basically, the Flag Smashers go from one singular character in the comics to an ideal, which I think that was the best route they could have gone for that type of thing instead of just making them one singular villain that they have to fight.
Okay, fair enough. Because I was in between Nuke and Captain Anarchy. I'm like, it could go either way, but Nuke does make more sense because of his connection to U.S. Agent and Captain America. It does make a lot more sense. Which again, U.S. Agent, we got you said it so many ways.
He's Dollar General.
As Joe put it, he's Dollar General.
No. He don't even get that designation. He's Dollar Tree.
Not Dollar Tree.
No.
He's Dollar Tree.
Not Dollar Tree.
I did discuss this earlier with somebody. It's like, well, what happens when he upgrades? Then he becomes Admiral $20. But right now he's Dollar General.
Not Admiral $20. Not Admiral $20. I mean, when I sat there and saw it, I was like, okay, so we're introducing U.S. Agent, which I'm like, yeah, that it does carry a story. But like Shadow says, we're gonna see him eventually accept the role of Captain America. Now, will we see it, midway through this 5-week series? Will we see it at the end? It's a toss-up. But I know the first episode, I just loved it. I could not find, usually, like, let's be honest, when we're reviewing this stuff, we're trying to find the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I honestly could not find anything ugly about the first episode. It was to me the perfect setup for a series. It's like you had your avenues scaled out. We already knew the character development of what Sam and Bucky are about to go through. Eventually, they are going to team up, and we're going to see the same stuff we saw in Civil War, where literally it's like the two younger brothers of the older brother are going to be feuding for 5 weeks, and I'm looking forward to that. It's like,
it's not to see how they do Sharon Carter, how she's going to play into it. So
yeah, so it's like so I'm looking forward to it. It's like that's why I sat there and said I think the Falcon the Winter Soldier for the next 5 weeks is going to be interesting, but at the same time, it's going to feel. I hate to say it, I pretty much think it's going to be a really good series, but I hate that it's going to be short because, and don't get me wrong, how Marvel has done these. I like the fact of how they did WandaVision. It told a story, and now it moved her forward, and it moved her forward to where she needed to be. In the same sense, where I think the Falcon the Winter Soldier is going to again be a one-shot story, but again put them where they need to be. So I like that way of storytelling because I know we're all looking forward to the What If series because there's going to be a lot of what ifs that are going to be thrown out there. I mean, let's just be honest. It's just like DC's Elseworlds. Elseworlds is just basically their answer to What If. So
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. But I think we can all agree that we all dig the Falcon the Winter Soldier. I don't think anybody in this group right now had an issue with it. So
shout out to War Machine.
Yeah, especially with War
Here's the
Machine.
question we got to be asking ourselves all the way through these TV series. Who's a Skrull?
Ooh,
that's right. We had
my money is still on Hayward. My money is still on Hayward being the Skrull.
That's
my money on this one. It's Sharon. That's a Skrull.
If Sharon is a Skrull, that's a very good guess.
That I can see. Now, here's the thing about that, and I know we're gonna have that different sect of Skrulls, which I think that was the better way they could have set it up, because we have the good Skrulls, Talos led. They're running basically what's going to be the new sword, the Fury. I think the Secret Invasion Skrulls are going to be led by Queen Barranki and everything like they do in the comics. So I'm going to call it, if Sharon Carter is a Skrull,
it would make sense though.
I would like it if she was the queen on Earth, setting everything up.
The second choice is whoever made U.S. Agent happen is the Skrull. To make the U.S. to make superheroes ineffective, start making superheroes ineffective for the invasion.
That's a good place. That could also work. John Walker could even be a Skrull.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
That costume doesn't fit him well enough for him to be a Skrull agent.
I mean, if you really think about it, there are different placements of Skrulls. I wouldn't be surprised if all those guesses were right, just because of where everything's set up.
We also need to keep in mind there's a reason the Skrulls are invading, and we are totally off topic because this is purely Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah,
it's in there anyway, so you're good.
They can backdoor in Galactus with a very simple sentence: "Why are you guys invading? Our home planet's gone."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I hadn't put that theory forth because I haven't done any videos of Secret Invasion, but that would be the most likely reason for them to do it. So yeah. Good on you, mate.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're not wrong. I still like Secret Invasion is the next. Between Secret Invasion, that is the next quote-unquote major story, so we already see that coming. Go ahead, Shadow.
The one thing I require out of Secret Invasion is about one or two scenes of Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury kicking all the ass.
Oh, we're going to see that. Because he's on vacation.
I need it. Like, it's his series, so...
We're going to see Samuel L. Jackson fighting Samuel L. Jackson in that movie.
Yeah.
So,
I need it.
We are going to see that.
Because, the way Nick handled the invasion in the comics, where he was all on top of it, and he still failed, but he was still there on top of it with the Secret Warriors and everything. I'm hoping we get that just one good, well choreographed, almost John Wick style scene of Nick Fury in full combat gear. I don't care if he has a trench coat on or not. I just need a scene of him whooping some Skrull ass. That's all I need. I'm sorry for cussing, but yeah.
No, you're good. We gave the disclaimer before we started. We're good. But no, I agree with that. But like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see that. So just a quick wrap through, because I know I usually cover CW series, guys. So I'm just gonna just do this in the quickest way possible. Because like I said, I'm going from worst to first at this week. Batwoman, it's best you stop digging. Again, it seems like it's repeating itself, so no need to really go into that, because basically if you watch the last 6 episodes, 7 was no different. Black Lightning's episode of Theseus Ship. Yes, there was a character death, quote unquote, with a new Jennifer. Except that Lala got Han Solo'd because they figured out they couldn't kill him, so they put him in the concrete. And also they did introduce Ishmael, which is interesting from Ishmael because he was actually a part of Ra's al Ghul's League of Assassins, even though it was kind of the ARC program. But hey, you're introducing new characters. But aside from that, Black Lightning is similar to Batwoman. It just did not get any better, and you can see why it's in its final season. And the good part about the CW shows, Superman and Lois, their most recent episode, was good. But then again, every episode of Superman and Lois has been good so far. What you got, Joe?
Question. The end of the episode, did they introduce a new kryptonite color? Because I know all the kryptonite colors. Yellow kryptonite's not a thing.
They tried to introduce the kryptonite from Supergirl.
So yellow kryptonite isn't Supergirl? It's not gold kryptonite?
Nah, it's yellow. I looked that up. that was when they mentioned yellow kryptonite, they tried to mention it from a Supergirl reference, which I thought was odd. So I mean, I've never heard of yellow kryptonite either. I was thinking to myself, yellow? I thought they said. I actually had to go back and watch it a couple of times to hear exactly what kryptonite they said. They said when I was reading the captions, X kryptonite, which I was like, that's X kryptonite? Okay.
Yeah, but X kryptonite is made to make Superman X from the Legion of Superhero cartoons.
Right. Even though I went back and watched the caption, that's exactly what they got. But according to them, they said it's supposed to be yellow kryptonite, which is basically used to make humans into metas. Not sure how that's going to work, but okay. And also, like I said, Jordan, the General finds out that Jordan has powers. Well, I'm sorry, not powers. We can't call him powers. He's enhanced. You're not really Superman, but you're not really normal either. And of course, they did use Kilgrave. I love how they used Kilgrave because Kilgrave was kind of those one-off scientists. And of course, against Superman, he does actually invent weapons to try to kill him. Which, for the episode, it did work. But the beauty part about the whole thing, which I loved at the end, where the General sat there and said, initiate Project 7734. When he said that, I was like, we are going to get it. Because now General Lane has realized that Superman is possible. We need to have a countermeasure against Superman. And I thought that was going to be a great build-up into the episode. And, of course, with The Flash, I'm going to be honest, the episode 3, which would have been the season 6 finale, it actually did make up for it. Now, was it a corny episode? Abso-freaking-lutely. It was so corny because the way they saved the Speed Force was through Iris. That because basically of her contact with the Speed Force, they used that to connect her to connect Barry Allen back to the Speed Force. It was the most corniest thing ever, but it still worked. At the same time, it kind of tied the episode together. But yes, it was still corny. And of course, Joe, as you probably see at the very end of it, the 4 colors streaming out, which again does bring up, there might be the Force arc, which may introduce the Sage Force, the Still Force, and the String Force, and how that all comes into place. I know, Joe, you said earlier that this may actually be avatars of avatars of each of those forces. I still think that Godspeed is still going to somehow show up somewhere in the middle of it.
Yeah, they'll probably make it to where Godspeed is going to be trying to get all the forces for himself. Because I believe we've already introduced the Turtle at the very least in this series.
Yeah, Turtle was introduced back in season 2.
And he is the avatar of the Still Force. We don't have the other two, and I don't know if they're going to be making those specific characters for the series, or we're going to use previous characters to be the avatars of Strength and Sage.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's the Williamson run. Josh Williamson has proven himself to me time and time again. I'm honestly looking forward to his Robin series, but that's beside the point. Like I said, the new season is definitely going to be their version of Force Quest. I'm okay with that. Hopefully it'll be a little less corny.
Nah.
That's fine with Wally or Barry saying the Wally line of Iris's lightning bolt. That didn't come till later for Barry, but I'll probably catch crap from Jared for that one. But he's probably just looking up.
Jared will come after you for that one if you get it wrong.
Jared's just looking up like, I know I've been insulted.
He's like Jared will come after you for that if you get it wrong.
No, it's okay. He loves me to death. It wasn't bad. This is fairly cliche now for them for a finale to be a little bit more corny.
Yeah.
We know that the police chief now knows who he is.
Of course. And now that's going to be... Well, I think it's kind of funny. The police chief kind of knew from Jump Street. He just never said anything. Which again was interesting. That he's like, I'm a detective. You don't think I'd figure out who you really were? Which I thought was cool about that.
Keeping Joe and Lucille around, I guarantee you Lucille's going to be the avatar of the Sage Force at this point.
Yeah. Although I told Shadow, who right now I know he still wants to watch it, so he's kind of got his headphones off. Because I've been saying this the whole entire time what needs to happen in The Flash. And another friend of mine who's also a cosplayer, Thomas, hates when I say this, but Joe has to die. There needs to be another character death. I know Shadow hates me for saying this, but Joe has... There has to be a character death somewhere. I mean, granted, the character death, I guess, is Ralph, but let's be honest, the actor who plays Ralph, the elongated man, he probably will get recasted somewhere down the line because they're not really getting rid of his story. So we know that
we had 2 character deaths.
Say what?
We had 2 character deaths.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, but I mean, do we really count Harrison Wells as a character death? He always seems to pop back up somewhere.
Well, that's because they finished his character loop and they left it open to well, I can time travel, so what does it matter?
True, but it's not really a death, though. I mean, like, I'm saying, you know, of course, like I said, The Flash still may have another season after this, but let's be honest, Arrow ran for, what, 6 seasons, I think? Arrow ran
8
for
seasons.
6? Was it 8? Okay, I'm sorry, 8. So Arrow ran for 8, Flash is on 7, so... I mean, if they're going to continue it, I can kind of see it, but it's going to be interesting either way. Sorry, Shadow. I know, Shadow. You ain't seen it yet. I apologize. Because I was like, I didn't want to sit there and say Joe has to die, but I kind of waited till you put your headphones on to say it again. Joe has to die.
Now, Joe just has to have another musical number. Let's not beat around the bush.
Yes.
Oh, good. But,
you know what? Give me a second episode again. I'm cool with it. Call Kara.
But with that being said, guys, I know, like I said, usually we try to introduce comics. I know Joe did tell us about Radiant Black. I got to read the first issue of it. I thought it was great. Still waiting for the next issue of Berserk because, again, I was underwhelmed by the first one. Maybe the second one will be better. But Joe, you said you had some other comic book recommendations to make.
Yeah, we got 2 this week. They are both independent. They are both from Image.
Okay.
We have James Herron, who's creator, artist, and writer of the book Ultra Mega.
Okay.
If you don't know what Ultra Mega is, it is a very, very R-rated take on Ultraman.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh, I remember hearing something about that coming out.
So, the whole premise of this is space spores have infected the Earth. Various people are turning into kaiju. We are focusing on one of 3 Ultras that have been made because of this thing. And it's Marvel Zombies level gore. So we are looking at what if Ultraman meets Guyver for hyperviolence.
Oh, wow.
God. Oh, my God.
Now, I've read the Guyver series. That's why I was like, oh, that's saying a lot. That's saying a heck of a lot.
I'm not going to ruin anything else for anybody. I do recommend this. They have some good comedic things of like the guy's body being disproportionate when he turns back into a human. So his head's still a little bit larger than his body for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
And then eventually it shrinks down. But no, this is a very hyper-violent version of Ultraman.
Okay, so this is more adult-rated, so kids, ignore what you just heard.
So. Yeah,
so kids, you cannot buy that comic. I would recommend not to. Gitbit does not recommend that kids read R-rated adult comics. What's the other one you got, Joe?
This one is also a independent one. This is by Scott Snyder, who is the architect of Death Metal, DC Dark Knight's Metal.
Okay.
Those of us who read, he was the author of New 52 Batman, architect of also the Court of Owls stuff.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to say that one.
Tony S. Daniel. So this is his own independent project. It's called Noctera. The whole premise is one day the Earth completely goes black. No stars, no sun, no nothing. Mm-hmm. And everybody has to keep themselves covered in lights because whatever it is, monsters are just coming out of the dark, but they are weak to light.
Yeah.
But it's just any kind of light. So everyone's covered in like neon lights all over their body. She uses flare guns to fight off the monsters. She is by profession a truck driver, which drives people from one city of lights to another city of lights.
Interesting.
There's her adventure from there.
Okay. So that's the okay. So I have to look that. I have to add that one to my list. List of well, I know it's not going to be in Comixology. That'll probably be in Amazon. But yeah, I'm going to definitely check those out. But that's really all that we guys got for Get Bit this week. So I just want to go around the bend. Shadow, anything that you want to say that you're working on or want to promote or plug, sir?
Just started streaming Pokemon Sword, played through. I finally got a capture card, so more games footage coming. Also, introduced my nephew. He's coming on my channel now. He's going to be a new team member. So 10-year-old kid getting his YouTube career started. We're going to see how much I can get him going in the next 10 years. So that's really all I got this week.
And where can they find this gaming channel and your stuff, sir?
All right, Shadow Creatives ENT on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram, all the good things. All my links. I believe you still have that link. He'll share it, and we'll go from there. So.
Yep. I need to actually post that up. I'm sorry. I just not realize I put your link up.
It's all good.
Joe, anything that you want to promote or post, sir?
Yeah, my channel actually is posting videos again for a little bit. New product for Digimon. The Digimon card games come out, so I actually have something I can put on the channel.
And where can they find you, sir?
My stuff is over at Total Justice Gaming. It's got a ridiculous amount of previous card game library games that I do. I'm currently doing Digimon. I just dropped a deck revolving around Blitz Greymon with the black colored Digimon, which is mostly like the androids and metal type Digimon.
Okay.
So there's that. I got other deck profiles in the work. I'm getting a whole bunch more comics tomorrow. So we'll see what I can get out of that and bring it to the show next week.
Hey, Joe, you, Battle for the Grid. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, I can do that for you. Plus, I can stomp you in Pokemon.
Dang. Now I want to watch. I haven't played Battle for the Grid. I haven't played Battle for the Grid in a long time, but if y'all play it, I will literally go back and go practice.
Yeah, I keep telling you, I run the Molten Steel team.
Okay. You know what?
That makes sense.
Now, I have a reason to go practice now because I miss playing online with folks. So it's nice to know there's other people that do play Battle for the Grid. I will play that along with it. But yeah, so as they said, guys,
what do you need to start fighting me on Street Fighter?
That's coming soon too.
Wait. Before I get to my part, where y'all playing Street Fighter on? I just heard something magical.
PS4.
I got PS4. Yeah, oh shoot. Oh, we're sharing gaming tags after all this is said and done.
Oh yeah.
Because I definitely play Street Fighter. But anyway,
you best believe when KOF comes out, none of you will beating me.
Oh,
I saw that post with Terry today. Yeah.
I need to.
Terrell McTerry Terrison?
Oh wow. Okay. I'm sorry, but I got sidetracked because I hear online playing with fighting games. I'm like, I feel like Thanos. Like I just want to put on the glove and say who wants to smoke. But
I already got my 2 people for Guilty Gear.
Oh, Okay, we got to wrap this up before I get lost in this because I love Guilty. Oh, okay. Sorry, apologize. All right, folks. So y'all can find me. The link at the bottom. If you copy and paste that into your browser, will take you to my link tree. It shows all my YouTube pages and Facebook pages. Definitely like, share, and subscribe if you like what you did, or if you like to comment. As I've seen many people commenting here. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Kat. I try to catch everybody. I will be better about this. I'm actually in the middle of building a new system that actually has 4 monitors and 2 machines running. So my electric bill is going to be freaking high after all said and done. But without so, we also point out my boy Vaughn, Big VZA on Facebook. He will be back podcast streaming April the 4th. Big VZA on Facebook or Big VZA on social media is where you can find him. Beyond that, guys, like I said before, thank you everybody who was watching, who liked, shared, subscribed. I know watch parties are going away very soon. But very soon, I hope to actually have this streaming simultaneously on Facebook and Instagram and Twitch. I'm actually trying to learn Twitch, so I can actually have this all streaming at the same time. So once that's set up, we'll get from there. Shadow, I will be joining you because I got a Switch for my birthday. My very gracious girlfriend got me a Switch. So I am going to be, tackling a whole bunch of Zelda games I haven't played that I now get to play, and various other Mario games which I'm trying to catch up on. Which I will probably be joining you on your gaming channel or on Joe's at Total Justice Gaming because, like you said, I have just found out that y'all both played the same amount of fighting games I play. and I'm excited so I could actually play people again. Y'all just do not know how.
You get Smash now?
Say what?
Does this mean I have to get Smash now?
Yes.
Yes, if you want to.
Fine, I'll whip you guys with Terry and Smash.
Oh. Ooh. Okay. You know what?
You know what we should do? We should not be fighting on the Switch. What we should be doing is you guys need to team up with me on Monster Hunter.
I need to play. I'm down to play Monster Hunter. I actually need to get that. I was waiting to get because I wasn't get Iceborne, but now there's a Monster Hunter Rise coming out now. Is that right?
Next week.
Okay, yeah, so I might as well just go ahead and get that then. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. And if you like, share, and subscribe. And like I said before, if you like what you did, if you like what we did, please let us know. If you didn't like what I did, or if you just disliked my comments because I talked bad about Justice League, I still want to know. Because again, as you can tell, we're not hating or liking anything. You know, if you like it, cool. If you don't like it, that's still cool. The beauty part about Get Bit is that we all come together and discuss our love for fandoms. If you love something, it's a fandom. If you protect it, it's a fandom. Just don't be toxic. That's the only thing we ask. Just don't be those toxic Star Wars fans that got us Kylo Ren. Because Kylo Ren is the exact example of what toxic Star Wars fans will give you. But with that being said, guys, like I said, links are all at the bottom. Shadow, I apologize. I know in post-production, I'm actually going to put the link in so that way they'll be able to find you. We might actually have some gaming things set up for the next time I decide to do this because I've realized that we all have a certain love of games. But with that being said, guys, that's been Get Bit for tonight. My schedule itself is always going to be the same. Tomorrow will be How the Friend We Got Here and Off Limits on Saturday. So with that being said, guys, I've been Will. That's been Shadow. That's been Joe. We do thank you for watching Get Bit. Like I said, guys, take care of yourself and each other. And I'm mad that he got a morpher out of it. You know what?
I'll pull out something even bigger. I'll do it.
That's what she said. I'm sorry. You walked right into that one, Joe. You walked right into that one. But with that being said, guys, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll get through this. Please be careful out there for COVID. Still wear a mask. Get shots if need be. And he got the Kamen Rider. But with that being said, guys, that's been Get Bit. Probably the next time you'll be seeing us, we'll all be playing and see if our friendship get tested. Aside from that, peace.